Hi everyone. First, I would like to thank the fantastic sponsors of this event. Sweetwater Sound, Footprints, Objective Systems, ADVCom, Yearbout Media, and the Art Institute of Chicago. When we were forced to cancel this year's summit, we explained to each of them our plans to record the keynote and the breakout sessions. We told them we could display their logo and website URL in their recordings. They each had an opportunity to cancel. We were not surprised when every one of them chose to continue their sponsorship. So we are grateful to all of them for their confidence in 4D and their ongoing support of the Summit 2020 digital experience. So now we would like to begin with a remark regarding this summit. Have you noticed that in each summit, up till now, we focus on features that have just been released or are coming in the next versions? Which version are we talking about? You know, at the Summit 2013, we were on v13.4. 2014, we had just released the v14R4. At the Summit 2016, we were at v15R3. And in 2018, the v16R5. It wasn't always clear which version we were focused on. So starting with the Summit 2020 and going forward, so we will be much more pragmatic. At this summit, we are completely focused on the v18 LTS version, long-term support version. At Summit 2022, we will have just released the v19 long-term support version, and so on. So each summit will mark the release of a new long-term support version. It's easy to remember for everybody. We made a really good move, and I would like to thank Thomas Small for that. So I'm sure now you are asking yourself, what does 4D in the years when we don't have any summit? Actually, we work hard. That's it. Okay, this picture doesn't show that we are working really hard, but I can tell you that I don't recognize, any members of the 4D team. So seriously, as soon as the summit is over, we immediately start to organize a world tour. So we want to show fresh material, so we create new demos and all the content so that 4D developers are always using best development practices. As a reminder, the first day is a chock full of technical presentation and friendly discussion around breakfast and lunch. And the second day is a full day of training to explain new features and tricks to help you evolve your apps. And here are some metrics about the World Tour, going back to the first event in 2015. So as you can see, we have increased attendance at every World Tour, which confirms us that this type of format is appreciated by our developers on a worldwide basis. And the next World Tour is already planned for the first half of 2021. And we are counting on you to continue the growth you are seeing here. Just a quick calculation. If each developer brings at least one new developer to discover 4D, we can easily double the number of attendees in 2021. And as a reminder, the first day is free of charge. So just do it. As is our custom at the summit, we would like to present some financials about the 4D group. So you and your customers will be happy to hear that we are doing very well and in good financial health. So our revenue is up 15% since 2016. Our sales were close to 19 million euros in 2019, with an important growth in Japan and Australia. So we are reinvested 30% of our revenue in research and development. We have a strong recurring revenue of 75%, allows us to continue to make large investment in our products and services. Revenue that is diversified on a regional basis and across many different industries. So we have been now profitable in each of the last 20 years. And 7% of our revenue now comes from professional services. And about professional services, I'm sure you remember when we launched professional services at the summit 2016. And since then, revenue is close to 1.4 million euros. So we have delivered 240 projects to customers around the world, helping them maintain or evolve their applications. So we delivered 83 projects in 2019 alone. And we have a team of 50 people. So we have delivered audits, migration, dev resources for your teams, UI design, etc. And the development is done both on-site and remote. And last year, we launched a new service called Deep Code Analysis, or DCA. As the name implies, the DCA increases your code performance and stability. By deep analyzing your code and your logs, the DCA will detect any bottlenecks, slowness, and failures in your system. To learn more about the DCA and all our professional services, you are invited to contact your local team. And I just remind to everybody that our only goal in professional services is to support your business. So as you know, our partners are the core of the 4D developer community, and we listen to you. Many have requested to add a level of partnership that includes a few days of professional services that we talked about earlier. So we built a new partner program called Platinum. It includes all the features and benefits of the Gold program, plus additional developer licenses and 4 days of professional services that you can use during this year in any manner that you wish. That can include training, help with development work, conversions to new versions, and much more. So most of you have already renewed their partnership for 2020, but it's easy to upgrade from silver or gold to platinum. Just contact your sales representative and they will show you how to do it. So it's crazy how time moves so quickly. 4D is starting its 5th decade. Can you believe that? Even it's indeed a long period of time, I can assure you that we have never felt so young. But while 4D has proven to be solid and sustainable, we can't afford to be immovable. This new decade reminds us that 4D needs to continue growing and adapting to the marketplace. And with the release of the new V18 long-term support version, we immediately start to take on these new challenges. So you will be hearing a lot about the V18 over all the recorded sessions, and especially the fact that there are more than 100 new features. But you know what? From the very beginning, we had an internal mandatory requirements. New features, yes. Compromise stability, no. So the technical keynote and breakout session will give you all the information you will need to enhance or build your next-gen application using 4D. And this version is clearly the foundation of our investment for our common future together. Okay, so what do we mean by investment? Modernization is ongoing, and object programming language is a pillar of this evolution. ORDA, which has been introduced at the previous summit in 2018, is one example. But 64-bit with no legacy third-party libraries, preemptive multi-threading for scalability, and source control for a collaborative development environment. These are all very important steps as well. And the new part of this modernization is shown by our founder, Laurent Ribardière, in his session.
Yeah, Pat, good morning. Just when you thought Sweetwater couldn't get any bigger in the city of Fort Wayne, here we are inside a 480,000 square foot new distribution center on the campus of Sweetwater, just off of US 30, and it is a very impressive building. And here to tell us a little bit more about it is John Hopkins, COO for Sweetwater. Thank you so much for being here with us. Kind of take us through some of the key features that you're most proud of.
Oh, this is a phenomenal place, and we broke ground about 503 days ago, and we are just so proud of the team for pulling this whole thing together in only 16 months. It's huge, and we've got room to grow by at least double. We can put out twice as many orders as we were able to do out of the old space, and the old space we were really jammed full. So we're just so excited to continue to invest in Fort Wayne and to be a part of this community, this thriving music and the thriving community in Fort Wayne.
You mentioned that growth, and here we are inside this big facility. What does that say about Sweetwater as a company?
Yeah, we have had 40 years of continual growth. This past January was our 41st year in business, and we've had continual growth through that whole period of time. Last year marked a record of doing $800 million. We did $805 million of business last year, shipped over 2 million orders to over 1 million different customers around the country. And so we are just so excited to let that continue, and we expect it to continue. So we've even got room here. We've built in room to be able to blow out the wall down there and add another 50% to this building, which would allow us to double the size again in the amount of volume that we can do.
And Sweetwater doesn't leave anything empty. Real quick, what are some of the plans for the existing building?
Yeah, the old warehouse that we built about 12 or 13 years ago, we're going to turn that all into Class A office space. There'll be about 80,000 square feet of office there. We're going to start that construction just as soon as we get that building empty in just a few weeks. And then we're going to start building in July a new 70,000 square foot conference center.
Wow, lots of exciting things happening at Sweetwater. John, thank you so much for being here with us this morning. They're going to be doing a full unveil later this morning. We will have coverage of that, of course, right here on Wayne 15. We're live at Sweetwater this morning. Michael Kuhn, Wayne 15 News.
Sweetwater has been using 4D since 1991, and last month they became the first billion US dollar warehouse running on order. They are currently using V17 R5 and will be moving to V18 really soon. So here are some statistics as of today and their projections for the next 5 years. Today there are 1,830 employees, and they expect to be more than 5,000 in 2024. They are running 850 million US dollar revenue, and they expect more than 2 billion US dollar revenue in the next 5 years. There are 1,100 Mac desktop, and they will run probably with 3,100 Mac in the next 5 years as well. And their 4D database today is 450 gigabytes, and they expect to reach 1.2 terabytes of 4D database. And finally, in terms of concurrent users, they are running with 730 concurrent users, and they expect to be more than 2,000 concurrent users in 2024. So now that you can see what we are able to build with our technology, our goal is to go even further. So we have an investment plan for the short term to which we are already committed. And I would like to share some key points of this plan with you today. So we want to provide a completely integrated web solution, the back end and the front end. We want to facilitate the deployment of business apps through SaaS, software as a service. We are dedicating resources to run 4D server on Linux. Yes, on Linux. And this is only possible because we have modernized the product and we no longer use Carbon or Altura. And finally, we want to offer a mobile solution on both iOS and Android. And as you know, 4D for iOS is already released in the long-term support V18 version, and you can really start to use it. And I really encourage you to use the 4D for iOS version and give us your feedback about that. And all these developments are in addition to our continuing work on 4D. And we already have people working on all these projects that I have listed just right here. So we talked about technology. So let's talk about sharing knowledge. So we must tackle the 4D learning curve. This is a big part of our investment and directly connected to modernization. So we must make information more accessible to you, but also to new developers wanting to learn 4D. And so how are we doing this? First, we have built a portal to centralize all materials required for you to optimize your development time. And here is a quick tour. So it includes new documentation related to project mode, the REST server, and much more. There is a guide to using 4D for iOS. You have links to 4D blog and the knowledge base, to forums, Tao, and all the downloads. You also have access to our Git accounts for code examples and templates, as well as our social networks, YouTube channel, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And it's all there at developer.4d.com. And for sure, we will continue to enhance this portal regularly. Then, we are creating a learning center to onboard new developers to 4D as quickly as possible. And thanks to the modernization of 4D already underway, so this goal will be much easier to reach. In the Learning Center, new developers are shown how to get started with 4D. They will learn how to build a 4D app step by step, thanks to videos, tutorials, source code examples, and basic applications that are ready to use and expand upon. And you can also subscribe to webinars and trainings online. We already have a team of 4 people fully dedicated to building all materials required to train new developers. And for sure, we will continue to invest massively in this department. Here is our new platform with all the material for trainings. Visitors will have access to catalog and choose the type of app they want to build. Our goal is to provide many different generic apps with the related source code to avoid starting from a blank page. The trainee will be able to choose the type of app they want to build, from client-server to full web or mobile app. And then the trainee will be able to track his or her achievement as they progress. A certificate will be delivered once all the steps have been successfully completed. And our goal is to release the first version of this platform before the end of June 2020. So our Learning Center targets several users. For you, to accelerate the onboarding of new recruits to your team, the videos and code example will be very, very helpful in ensuring that your new recruits are using the best programming practices. For universities, we will provide a complete platform to teachers and students. Our experience shows that having a comprehensive set of material is vital to gaining teacher support and building a successful curriculum. And finally, for new customers and new developers, we want to attract them to discover the power of 4D to build applications faster and less expensive than the competition. And as we all know, the big advantage of e-learning is that you can participate anywhere and at any time you want. So in conclusion, as you have seen, we have ambitious but reachable goals for 2020 and the coming years. So we are all excited about that. Our strategy is intended to serve you and help grow your business, targeting your new projects and your new customers, and obviously, new developers. So all of you are our best advocates. More than ever, we are counting on your support to convince your friends and colleagues to try 4D. So now it's time for you to watch the technical keynote and all the breakout sessions. So thank you very much for your support and take care.